One shot.
Hi, my name is Siddharth Rawat, and today I'll be taking you through a video on how to create and run a MapReduce program over a Hadoop framework. I've accessed the tutorial on GitHub to create this program. We have a single node Hadoop cluster working on a virtual machine, and we're currently using the Cloudera Quick Start virtual machine for this assignment. We will also be using prerequisites like Hue for accessing the Hadoop user interface on Sandbox. The problem statement here is to count the number of votes at all booths in the presidential election of a country called Utopia using MapReduce program. So naturally, we have to develop a MapReduce program that works on Java and run it over a Cloudera virtual machine. So after the voting concludes at every booth, a final file will be generated for that booth, which includes all the names of the candidates. Here is a sample of that file. It includes the name of the candidates that will be taking part in this election, and this will be the output file for the people who have voted for them. Let's start the project. I will start by building my Java code, and for that I will be using Eclipse. Here I've already created a new Java project named Utopia Vote Count. I've created a package called Vote, and the package contains the three Java classes, which are the Vote Count application, Vote Count mapper, and Vote Count reducer. I've also included some jar files which will be used as dependencies for running this application on the Hadoop cluster. For that, I have exported the jar files from configure build path and add external jar files. I've already added them, so I'll just go to the next step. Now, let's dive into the mapper program first. So in the mapper program, this class extends this class extends mapper class, which defines the key value pair of inputs and outputs. The framework is the mapper task for each input split the boot files that are given as input to the map method, and the map method is overridden to call map for every key value input. Here you can see the key value and the output. Then once this program runs, it writes to an intermediate file which indicates the name of the person and adds 1 to it, which is given in this portion of the program. Now we move to the next, the reducer function. It takes the intermediate file created by the vote count mapper and then combines all the results for every candidate. Let's go to the reducer program. It extends the reducer class, if you see here, and it does iteration on the vote counting, adding all the values for a particular key. So it's counting and adding all the values to a particular key. It does iteration on the vote counting, adding all the values, and using the context output, we write it then to the final file. This final file is known as the key. The key is how the name of the person and the vote count is in the total count of the votes for that person. Now to run, we have to write a driver program, a driver application called the vote count application. It defines the configuration of a job that is submitted to the Hadoop cluster. In this run method, it indicates to run the vote count application by passing the input in the command line when we execute the jar we are going to create. We define the job class for getting instances and configuration where output format, input format, mapper class, and paths are defined. Then set jar by files the set jar by file class is for getting the instance configuration where output formats, the input format, the mapper classes, and the paths are defined. The set jar by class identifies the jar file which contains the vote count application. In the end, the job just is submitted and the jar file needs to be created. So I'll go to file and I'll go to export and select jar file. I've already added this jar file to save some time. Now I will move on to the Hadoop file browser called Hue. Here you can see I've already created a folder called vote count input where I have placed the polling results of two different booths which contains the files of the names of the candidates who are being elected by the people. Now we go back and we run it in our we open the terminal and we run the command for running this program, mapper reducer. So we'll just wait for the output. Here we see that the number of splits are 2, the total number of input paths are 2, and we can also check the output on this URL. And we'll just go to the URL and check what the output is. We'll go to the output. And here are some of the details. It's taking some time, so yeah, here it is. So we can see the details of the let's just go and move into the more details. And once we have seen this, we will go back to our Hue file browser and check if we have an output directory over here. So it's going to take some time. And we go to Cloudera. You can see the output directory is here, and we go inside the directory, we check. And now you can see here that in the output we have got the total vote count, the vote counts. This completes our video and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.